is a retired United States Marine colonel and senior advisor at Washington Center for Strategic and International Studies. Mark, welcome back. Conflicting reports, first of all, coming out of Ukraine, where Russia claims control over the key strategic town of Soledar. What is your assessment from what you're hearing and what you know?
It seems like the Russians have captured the town itself, but fighting is still going on around the outskirts. It's important to keep in mind, though, that the fighting here looks a lot like World War I. You get artillery bombardments, infantry assaults, small gains on the ground to capture wrecked villages. So the fact that they've captured the town itself doesn't mean that they're going to translate that into any broader success.
For those of us who are not military experts, explain, if you would, fighting in the areas of Bakhmut and Soledar seems to have been deadlocked for months now. Why is this? Why hasn't there been this breakthrough moment?
The fighting has been stalemated. The Russians have continued on the offensive, even though they've withdrawn from other areas and gone on the defensive in other parts of the front. And the reason is that Putin has vowed to occupy the Donbass because of the many Russian speakers there. But because the Russians have focused on it, so have the Ukrainians. The front lines look a lot like World War I. You've got trenches, you've got strong points. They're very strongly held, very difficult to make any progress. As a result, you have a lot of artillery bombardments. The Russians have apparently been making continuous infantry assaults with a little success, but at very high cost.
The founder of the infamous Wagner Group underscored that it was his soldiers and his soldiers alone who contributed to this claimed victory. What is the significance of that sense of proprietorship? Are we seeing fracturing within the Russian forces?
We are seeing a little. Prigozhin, the head of Wagner, has been publicizing the role of Wagner in the fighting, particularly in the Donbass and around Bakhmut. They argue that they are more effective and more successful than the Russian military. Right, so far, we have not seen the Russians lose control of Wagner, but that could certainly happen in the future. It's not unusual that countries, when they have a hard time recruiting, will turn to autonomous or semi-autonomous organizations to beef up their recruiting and expand their forces. We're seeing that with Russia. You've seen it many other times as well.